Hello, my Stampin' friends. How are you today? My name is Linda Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator with Crafty Heron Designs. I'm going to show you how to make this fun card today, and I've got a lot to share with you. All of the items that are available that I'm going to show you today are available in my Stampin' Up store, craftyherondesigns.com. But you can certainly use what you have in your stash to make this card. So let's go ahead and get started. We are using a flip flap. See that? Something relatively new from Stampin' Up, new to me anyway. If you've done scrapbooking, you're probably familiar with this, but I'm going to show you how to use this flip flap to make a shaker card. You see all those fun little elements in there? And you could also use it, there's a little opening in the back, so you could slip a gift card in there. So you could certainly modify this card for any event. So as you can see, here's the inside, and then look at that, a nice little happy Valentine's Day. I thought that was really a lot of fun. We are going to use the new Stampin Positioner to stamp our elements. So I'm going to show you how to use that. I'm using the Endless Love stamps and dies. This is from Stampin' Up. And the reason I'm going to use the Stampin' Positioner with this particular die stamp set is because it's pretty thick. And I think that's a perfect application for the Stampin' Positioner. The dies, here are some of the other dies. There are 13 that come in the set. I've got several of them out because we're going to do class tomorrow. And this is one of the cards that we're doing in my class. Some of you have ordered the material for the class, the card kits. And so this is the video that you will follow to make your card kit, your card at home. So let me share with you some of the basics that you will need to make this kind of a card. I'm going to start with this stuff, because I've pre-cut some of the things. So the card base is just a standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'll go ahead and, yes, she says, where is my bone folder? I just had it here and now it's gone. Does that happen to you? But fortunately, I know I have others. So I'll use this one. I can't imagine where it went to. It's probably underneath something. That's always the way, isn't it? All right, so there's the card base. Then you will have 2 pieces of designer series paper. One's going to go on the outside. The other's going to go on the inside, but we're not going to attach it yet because we have some other things we need to do first. But these are that next layer, which is 5 1/4 by 4. So 2 different patterns. And if you have your kit, well, this one you probably can't use this way. I think that would look a little odd, but you could certainly decide to put this on the front and this on the inside, or, you know, whatever. You've got some options, right? Since fortunately our paper always is 2-sided. I thought this one worked really well. Then our third designer series paper, which, you know, you're probably wondering, what's the name of this paper? I think it's Endless, well, I don't remember. It's part of the suite, the Endless Love suite. So this is the smaller piece. This is the piece that's going to go inside the flip flap. And this one is 4 by 3 1/8. This is the flip flap. They come in, let me show you, they come in packages or several different sizes. This is the 3" by 4". Comes in a set of 12. And there are 6 each in 2 different directions. So you can see the one I'm using today is, I guess it's square. And then this one is vertical. So the basic inside is going to be the same, but the way it goes in your card is going to be different. So if for some reason you had this particular one, I would just do it at the top. But I'm going to do this one at the side. So it's going to basically sit like that. And I will show you exactly how to use that as we get going. Then I've also got another piece of basic white, actually 2 pieces of basic white. The larger one is 3.5 by 4 3/4, and that's gonna go on the inside. So we'll do some stamping on there. And then this one is 3 by 4, and that's gonna be on the outside. It's gonna actually sit kind of right there to be hidden by the flap. So we will do some stamping on that as well. So that's your basics. And then I also, if you've got the card kit, I've already cut these out for you. We've got the heart that comes from the Endless Love die. This tag, which is also cut with the Endless Love die. And look at this pretty, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of shimmery. This is the pastel shimmer 12 by 12 paper, and this is a bubble bath color. This is strawberry slush. So I thought those were fun colors. They coordinate with the paper there. And then this is part of the Beautifully Celebrated dies. Let me get those for you. So Beautifully Celebrated, look at this sweet. These dies I think are really beautiful. I love the design, and they nest. So you can see that this is gonna be the third from the largest. I guess it's the third smallest, third largest. So if you ordered your card kit, I've already die cut that for you. And the first thing I like to do is to start with the stamping. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna move some of this stuff aside for assembly, get it ready for assembly. And I need that. Let's see, so let's start with Sending You Love. So if you are doing this at home, of course you don't have access to the Stampin' Positioner. So you'll have to just use your regular stamp set. But what I did, I wanted to show you, is the way I'm using this. There's paper that comes with the positioner. Let me move all of this off of here. See how that sits? There are little pegs here that the paper's gonna fit on. So because I'm doing this for class, I've prepped it ahead of time. And if I was gonna do multiples, this would be the way I would do it. So I had put in, let me get my other piece. When I first started, I took a piece of scrap paper and I just set it in here. And I would set it up at the top, kind of center it. And then I'll come in, of course, I'll die cut afterwards. So I set the paper there. I put these magnets, look at these magnets. They are nice because they've got like a little tab so they don't get stuck. Do you remember when we had the Stamparatus? The magnets were always getting stuck and it was really hard to pick them up. You will not have that problem with this piece. So I would mark the sides of the paper, mark where I've got it, so that I can then put make sure that it's gonna go in the same spot each time. So I've already got my stamps on the positioner. The way I did that was I brought in my paper, I set the stamps down where I wanted them, and then I pressed down to pick up the stamps off the paper. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn that over and I'm going to stamp. I'm using real red ink for this. And I'm gonna go ahead and stamp, or excuse me, ink up. Let me set that aside because it's a little wobbly and I want it to be flat. I'm gonna go ahead and ink up my stamps. Now the reason I feel like this is a really good use for the Stampin' Positioner is because especially the word love, but both of them are kind of thick. And it's hard to get a good image with that thick stamp and the photopolymer. So the Stampin' Positioner has 2 open holes here, and then it's got these pegs here. You see, they kind of press. I think I'm gonna put this one up here. So I'm just making sure that my magnets are in such a spot that they're not going to, that my paper's not gonna move. There you go. So you can see that it's a little bit light. Let's see, the image is not great. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. And the beauty of this is that my paper hasn't moved, so that I can go ahead and stamp it exactly the same spot. Ah, much better. Can you see that? Much better. Nice, dark image. So then I would take that and go ahead and die cut it. So let's see how we would do it. Let's see, can I do it? So if I've already got this die cut, I need to put it, I don't know if I can do it this way. I might have to. The problem I might have, so I have a center line here, so I know I've got it centered. And I'm gonna just go ahead and I have to check and make sure. Maybe they're supposed to be this way. So you'll see what I'm gonna do is I need to make sure, can you see that that magnet is kind of gonna be in the way? Oh, I'll just turn it the other way, let's see. I don't know if that'll work. But I don't want it to be on top of the peg there. So now I'm looking overhead. It's not really centered. I have to slide it over a little bit. So I would say it's much harder to do this if you've already die cut your piece. So I'm gonna try it one more time, but if you've already got your piece die cut, yeah, well, let's see, that might work. It's certainly trickier if your piece is already die cut. All right, I'm gonna try it. What do you think? Go ahead and ink that up. And then press down. Well, not too bad. Ink it up again. And press it down. I think moving it over, I shouldn't have moved it over. That's okay. See, when I moved it over, it's not centered, but that's okay. And now we'll set that one aside. I'm going to show you the other piece. So this Stampin' Positioner comes with 2 different plates. So you saw that was the big plate. Now this is a smaller plate. Same idea. It's got the springs on the one side. Actually, this has springs on both sides, but on this side, it has the holes that I'm going to use to line up. So you can see that I've already got this in position. I've already done that. So I'm going to bring in my the other piece of white cardstock that's going to go on the inside. Okay, what did I do with that? I guess it's this. Where did I put my cardstock? Oh, here it is. Oh my goodness. This piece is going to go, oh yeah, this is the inside. So it's going to go this way. So I made marks. I made red ink. With my ink, I put my paper down. Again, I'm pushing it all the way up to where these pegs are. I'm centering it there. in between my pre-made lines. And I think I need to put it down here because, nope, I think it's going to go here. No, I did it up at the top. So when I set this up, I lined up my paper. I put this on so that I would know kind of what my options are, because I could move this down. So I could theoretically, you know, I could have done multiple. I could stamp this multiple times on the same card. So when we go to do some other things, I'll show you how to do that. But that's going to go right there. And it'll be all lined up. Okay. So now, oh, wow. That wasn't good. Unfortunately, I always have wipes on hand. So I'll get the wipes to clean that off, because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to touch it and it's going to go all over my card. I'm not worried about the paper, but it's on my fingers. Fingers. Okay, let's try that again. Got that. There we go. So you may be wondering, well, how did you get this Stampin' Positioner? Because it's actually not available for sale on the Stampin' Up website yet. Well, because I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I was able to pre-order it before it came available to the general public. And I wanted to try it out. Stampin' Up used to have a device called the Stamparatus, which unfortunately is no longer available, so this replaces that. But I wanted to test it out to see whether it was worth the hype. So I got it to play with it. Okay, so I'm gonna press that down again. If you would like to get a Stampin' Positioner of your very own, you can join my team, because for the month of February, you can get it for free when you join and purchase the starter kit. So it comes, you get, with the starter kit, you get $125 worth of items from the Stampin' Up store. You can purchase anything you want from the store. And you will also get the Stampin' Positioner. So I think that's a pretty good deal. And there are lots of other benefits to joining Stampin' Up. We have a great team. We have a lot of fun together. I host regular team meetings. You get a 20 to 25% discount on all of your purchases, future purchases. And the only obligation is that you have to, I need scrap paper. You have to purchase up to $300 worth of material every quarter. So quarters are 3 months, but your first quarter, you don't have to purchase until this, the second quarter ends. So January, February, March, April, May, June. So June 30th would be you'd have to make a $300 purchase in order to continue your membership. If you don't want to continue and you want to go back to just being a customer, you can certainly do that as well. So you see that I took these heart stamps, I stamped off. This is Strawberry Slush, and that's going to go on. That's going to be for the inside. Now I'm taking my smaller piece of white cardstock, and I've got this XOXO, which I thought was really cute. And I'm going to also stamp that off. Let me do that again. And I'm going to do this corner. There we go. And I'm going to come and do this corner. There we go. And then one last thing I want to do, I'm just getting ink all over myself today. I think something about red ink that just, I always seem to have trouble with red ink. Getting messy. Okay, let's bring that back. And now, this says today and always. And since all of our stamps are photopolymer now, I feel like I can go ahead and die cut the pieces first. But if you're not too comfortable with that, just go ahead and stamp your image and then die cut it afterwards. But I could see through that one, so that worked out okay. All right, I think we're ready to assemble our card. Now that all of our stamping is done. So, set that aside. There, so the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to start, let's fill our flip flap. So we're going to do this first. So the flip flap has like a, here we go. See, it's got the sticky part. And then there's the opening, all right? I want the sticky part and the opening to be like backwards, right? Because that's how we're gonna attach it. So I'm gonna go ahead and first thing I'm gonna do is put in the designer series paper, and you could use either side. I want this side to be in the front. So I'm just double checking. That's the side I want to be on the top. I've got my flap here, which will continue to be open because that's where I'm gonna I could put a gift card in. And then the other piece is here. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get this ready. So I've got my Sending You Love. I'm gonna just put that on the inside of, or right on top of this designer series paper. Now, because we're going to use it as a shaker component, make sure you don't get, boy, I am just all over today. Make sure you don't get glue or adhesive anywhere on outside of this, because your pieces will stick. Okay. So again, I want that to be that way. I'm going to put this in. But before I close it up, I'm going to take a piece of tear and tape, because we have to have a way to close and make the card to make sure that the pieces from the shaker bits don't fall out. So a bit of tear and tape, and I want that to get, I'm going to burnish it because I want to make sure it adheres really well to the paper. And I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to take it off yet, but what I'm going to do, because I want to show you, I'm going to take that paper off that protects the sticky part after I put my shaker bits in. All right, and then that's going to close up and it's going to adhere so that the paper doesn't, so that the sticky bits, or the little bits don't fall out. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, these are the loose Valentine assortment. And I have this little spoon. It's actually like a little ice cream spoon. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of, I think 2 scoops is good. I am going to try and make sure that they're kind of flat. It's not a big deal, but that'll be good. All right, set this aside because I'm having a tough day today, getting everything all messed up. All right, so now I'm going to take your pick tool and peel off that plastic or that covering on the tear and tape. All right. It's never as difficult to do this when you're not on video. I'm going to come from this side. There we go. Because I kept getting under the tape coming from the other side. And I don't want to take the whole tape off. Okay, see there? I got that off. It really wasn't as difficult as I made it look. And now I'm going to just close that up. And I want to really burnish that well to try and get it adhered as much as possible. All right. And now I'm going to take this piece and take that off. I'm going to turn my card to the side. I want to kind of center it. If it's not too big of a deal, but if you're really particular, you can use your grid paper to mark it. But what I'm doing is I'm just kind of looking at that it's centered top to bottom. And it just needs to be close. And I want to be right on the edge of the cardstock. There we go. Okay, again, burnish it. So this side still opens. So I could get a gift card in there. And now I will bring my Designer Series paper. Let's make sure that covers. So, okay, so you can see I was maybe a little too close here before I put that paper on. I don't want to take a chance on that. Well, I don't feel like I burned it. I should have checked it before I burnished it, but you know what I'm going to do? Rather than, because you see what happened, I was a little bit over too far, and when I close it, my paper's a little off. So what I'm going to do is, rather than mess with changing the fold or anything, I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm just going to trim off just a little bit of this side of the paper so that it closes evenly. So I'm going to press. So when you're only doing a little bit of cardstock, sometimes it'll fray a little bit. So I'm going to press hard on my trimmer as I move it up so that it doesn't fray. All right, let's check it. Yeah, I might need to, no, that's good. Okay. See, it's good. We make mistakes, we find solutions. So now I can go ahead and just take this and put it on and cover up that tape. So you could do this from the side or the top, or you could just keep the whole thing inside the card. It wouldn't have to be like flipping over. You could just keep it on the inside. And then this is going to go next on the inside. I really like these little flip-flops. I feel like it's so much easier to do a shaker card with them than it was when we were doing, remember back in the day, you'd have to use the foam strips, and it seemed like the glitter would get everywhere. I feel like this is much easier. All right. Okay, so now one of the reasons why I stamped this, but I wanted to do the inside first, was because I want to make sure that this gets covered up. All right. So I just I didn't want to adhere this until I had that flap there, because if I was a little high or a little low, it doesn't really matter because I can line it up this way. So I'm just kind of making sure that this white card, there we go, is going to be hidden. And now we just decorate it. So I've got that piece and that piece. So because the card is already a little bit bulky with the little shaker elements in it, I don't want it to be too thick. So I'm just going to adhere this directly on the cardstock with liquid glue. And then here I'm just using a little bit of liquid glue on the glimmer paper. This glimmer paper is really pretty. Fun for these kind of little elements. All right. Just kind of do a little bit like that. And then this piece is going to go on top of there, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of put it over that hole there. And I'm going to use a faux, I'm going to use a bow, but I'm not going to put it through the hole. I'm going to just tie a small bow and then put it on top. So this is the Bubble Bath faux linen ribbon, and it really is a nice, it's very, it'll go very flat, so it's not very bulky. And I'm just gonna make a small bow to go in there, so it works really well. I just think it's really pretty. I like the color, and I like that it's easy to work with. There we go. I do like to use ribbon scissors though. And then I will use a glue dot. And because it's small, I kind of twist the glue dot around the end of my Take Your Pick tool. I'm gonna kind of stick it in that hole there. And then check your bow and see which side looks better. I think I like that one. And I'm gonna just put that right there. There you go. Oh, and what you can do is you can take out a couple of the little elements, and let's see, we'll put one there. So I'm just gonna put a little dot of glue, and I wanna let it set just a little. Now this glue, you know, it sticks right away, but if you let it set, like just sit there for a minute, it's not as slippery. It kind of, so I find that I just let it set a little bit, and then I'm gonna go in with this. So I've just picked up, again with my Take Your Pick tool, I picked up, look, these are like little envelopes, just so cute, like a little letter. Put one there. Oh, it's upside down. There we go. Okay. And then there are these little red, no, I don't want that. There's these little red lips. See if I could tell which way it is. Okay. There's a little set of lips. I just thought they were so cute. And maybe a heart. There. Isn't that cute? I hope you like my little card today. I think it would be a fun one to do, not just Valentine, but you can use other papers, and would be a great gift card for a birthday or for a wedding. And how fun is that? Wouldn't anybody you know love to receive a card like that? Thanks for joining me today. If you need if you don't currently have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'd love to help you to in your creative journey, and would love to have you join my team. If you're interested, just go to my website, and all the information that you need for joining or for purchasing any of the items is there. And certainly you can reach out and email me or call me, give me a call if you've got questions on Stampin' Up! And the journey. Thanks again. I appreciate you sticking with me till the end. Bye for now.